Hello, this is JB, and I'm a first year law student. Today I'm going to talk about what law school is really like. So, law school is very stressful, it's very hard. You spend long hours reading books, trying to understand very difficult concepts in detail. So, not just like a broad definition, but to really understand how things work. And what happens a lot of times is that law professors and even deans, they try to make things as hard as humanly possible for good reasons, because they want you to meet your potential and learn things that are difficult so that you can succeed later on. But sometimes it doesn't feel like that's what they're doing. It feels like they're intentionally trying to confuse you so that you're disoriented and you lose confidence and you don't know what's going on. It feels that way. I don't think that's what they're actually intending to do. At least I hope not. But that's how it feels. But probably about a month, two ago, I was in class, before class, and I was just riffing with some of my friends, my classmates, and I started talking about what law school is really like. And for me, if acts of torture are enhanced interrogation techniques, law school uses enhanced education techniques. So law school feels like waterboarding, because waterboarding, for people who don't know, maybe not old enough, this is something that they used almost 2 decades ago now during the War on Terror, when they picked up people from the Middle East and were trying to extract information from them about different terrorist networks. They would have people in prisons, and they would like turn the lights on 24 hours a day or make a lot of noise, pumping music that was hard to listen to. And they would also do something called waterboarding. And so waterboarding is where the prisoner is on a board, and then they dump the prisoner, his head, into water to make them feel like they're drowning. So it's simulated drowning. And the person believes that they're going to die because they have no way of pulling themselves back up. And so they feel helpless and hopeless, and they start to give up. And just at that time, they bring the person back out of water, and they spit water, and they're just glad to be alive, and they're confused, and they don't know what's happening. And then they get asked questions when they're still trying to figure out what's going on. And then as soon as the person starts to figure out what's going on, they start to feel better, to be relieved from being almost drowned. They dunk their head back underwater and keep doing this for as long as it takes until the interrogators get bored, or until the people give up the information that the interrogators want. And law school feels that way because they inundate you with so much work, and it's so hard, and the concepts are so difficult to grasp, and the details of those concepts. And then you think you're struggling, you think it's so hard that you're going to die. Not actually, of course. But you feel like, oh my gosh, I can't take this anymore. And then they give you a test or something, and you do fine. They say, good job, you're learning. And then they give you more of this work, and you start to struggle again, wonder if you can do it, second guess yourself, second guess your decision to come to law school, and sometimes maybe feel like giving up or thinking about other options. And then they give you another test, you do fine, and then the same sequence again. And it feels like this is always happening, because it's like a cycle. And they are your students often, from my experience, what I can tell, they are just so overwhelmed by everything that's happening, all the information that they're trying to consume and understand and be able to talk about. And it just feels overwhelming and difficult. There's a lot of stress, a lot of pressure. You have the pressure of the professors, but also the pressure of everyone else and how they're doing. You're trying to keep up with everyone else, and you're judging yourself based on everyone else. And then you have your financial pressures, maybe your family pressures, other things that you're trying to do in your life. This year, the first year, we can't work, but so you're trying to do all that, and the professors and the administrators, they have control. And you would expect that because they're at higher positions, but they have this control, and you just have to do whatever they say, however they say it, and you have to try to excel without really knowing how to excel. You just do whatever you can do and hope it works. And that's the same with waterboarding. You just try to endure it. You just try to get by and just hope that they bring you back out of water so you can survive. And it's difficult, and like, in a way it's traumatic. It's not traumatic in the way that real victims of crime are traumatized, or people who witness violence or something terrible happens to them if they're in war or something. It's not that kind of traumatic, but because it's just school and you can quit and go do something else. You can get out of it if you really want to. But it's traumatic because of how overwhelmed you feel and how much pressure you feel and how much uncertainty there is that it doesn't feel good. But then when you do finally succeed, when they bring your head out of the water, so to speak, and you're still alive, and things look like they might be okay, you just feel relief. You feel a little bit of hope until it happens again. And so it's kind of rough, to think about how real people, were waterboarded and how difficult that was for them. And it's probably not fair to them because their experience was much worse than the waterboarding, the metaphorical waterboarding that takes place at law school. But that's the best way that I can explain it. Law school is much like waterboarding. It's much like enhanced interrogation techniques, or as I say, enhanced education techniques. That's all I have to say about that. Thanks for listening. Bye.